Hi there, Virgo. Welcome to your mid-June 2025 General Tarot Update. It's Rena here. All right. Wow. Well, that's a good start. Okay. Let me put these to the side. We'll put this in the middle. I'm going to see if I can... Okay, so I did start a new file so that um, the cards would have greater resolution. I don't know if it really matters, but it seemed kind of blurry before. But anyway, the heart of the matter is the Sun card, and this is a card that is so good in so many different ways. It is connected to the sign of Leo. If there's somebody in your life that is important, that is that sign. This is a card of love and creativity and children, joy, abundance, success, healing. So yeah, have you been experiencing those things by any chance, Virgo? Because maybe that is something, have you fallen in love? That kind of thing might be what is happening for you in some way. The energy leading up to this is the Four of Swords, which is more of a retreat from the kind of, mainstream, or what we'd say the outer world. I almost think of the Four of Swords like a minor arcana version of the Hermit card, which is connected to Virgo. And it's like, if I were just to interpret those two cards, I would say like someone who has, maybe they have fallen in love with someone new, but they're married. And so they decide to get separated. Or maybe they were having marital problems and they separated and they met somebody during their separation. And that has kind of created a bit of a, what we would call like a dilemma, because they don't know, like, should I do this? Should I stay with my marriage? Should I get divorced? What should I do here? And, it might vary from person to person what is the right course of action, especially if they have children and things like that. The higher message, and this would be like a lesson to be learned or something to consider, is the Ten of Wands. This is a card of the person who is laboring quite a bit. When I see this, if I'm like talking about relationships and I get that card, I think about the person who is doing heavy lifting in a relationship. And typically with Virgo, I do see that is a thing. That Virgo, and even like if this is something to do with work matters, the Sun card can be a card of, the person who is in love, but their concept of love makes them have a tendency to kind of take responsibility for everything instead of, really like kind of gauging whether or not that other person seems that into them. Virgo is such a helpful type of a sign. And I think about I think about librarians when I think about Virgo. There's probably a lot of Virgo librarians out there. And how, like, whenever I ask them a question, I have to be prepared for getting this like really detailed response, because they really want to be of service and to help and to provide information. And the same thing applies to the average Virgo person. You want to improve other people's lives, but you have to, in relationships, there has to be give and take. As a matter of fact, the card that is coming in, of the energy coming in, is the Six of Pentacles in reverse. And this is about in the upright position, this is about give and take. You see the hands outstretched. Those are the people that are in need, and the person who is wearing what we might call, rather elegant clothing to denote that they are maybe of a greater income level or economic level, is able to give to them. And is also holding the scales to indicate that fairness or even type of exchange, energy exchange, and that's really what relationships are about, is an energy exchange. Money is energy for sure, but that's not the only form of energy. The regard that you give to others when you're in a relationship matters. So if you're somebody who really, maybe you can't take your significant other out to dinner, but you might, do something really nice for them because you just love them, you care for them. It's not about tit for tat monetarily. It's deeper than that. But this card is reversed, so that means that there isn't this, this is the whole point. You might be kind of like feeling like you're struggling to make something happen, and it's because you're putting yourself in that position. You're for some reason you believe that that is your duty, when in fact it is not. So keep that in mind, that you can change the way that you operate. And this, I almost was going to turn it over and thinking that it was reversed, but this is actually how this card is. I always get confused with it. The Hangman is the outcome card. The Hangman is about being in a state of limbo, meaning that you don't feel that you necessarily can advance with something that you're dealing with. And so, for instance, if you are wanting to get divorced, leave a relationship, you may kind of assess the situation and realize, I don't think the timing is really right for this. And you kind of are just kind of swinging in the breeze, so to speak. Or another possible interpretation is that this is about surrender. So sometimes that's the 10 of Wands can be about trying too hard, trying too hard to make something work, instead of just surrendering to it and allowing the chips to fall where they may. Now, I did pick a clarification card. I might pick a couple because, okay, they're both fire, and that means that they really are about the individual. And so what I want to impress upon you, Virgo, is that whatever your situation is that this may be about, maybe you are emerging from a period of rest. Maybe you have been in between jobs and you are looking to be creative with the sun. Or if you are a maybe like you took off time, I'll just say a stay-at-home mother, and I'll acknowledge that sometimes it's the man who is the stay-at-home parent. But let's say just say a stay-at-home parent, and you have been kind of out of the, you know, mainstream action, and now you're looking to do something. You may feel like you have to prove yourself, and really look at what you're being told by potential employers or by your friends or your family about what it takes to get back into the swing of things in the job market. And it might be, with these other cars, it might be that you are more geared now to work for yourself. The wands relate to fire energy, which is individualistic, is freedom loving. This is, I'll just hold it upright. The 9 of wands is about, in the upright position, is about boundaries. So look at how you are not honoring boundaries in your life. I think this is an issue for Virgo. I have the moon in Virgo, by the way, so don't, and 2 outer planets, so don't think that I'm picking on Virgo. I have Virgo energy very easily. And yeah, so maybe you are allowing yourself to be like this person who is, like overworked, or maybe this is something that you have dealt with in the past that you need to realize. And this is Queen energy, Queen of Wands. This is the Queen can be the mother, and the Wands, can relate to career. So it could be a career, a woman, a working mother. But this is about the royalty, meaning that you know who you are and you know what you deserve. There's like a regal quality here, and it's not, coming from this groveling position. That is not arrogance. This is in the upright position. So it's really kind of embodying that sense of your own sovereignty and, being royalty, which is true of all human beings, that we have inherited, you could say, the kingdom of God. And, we're not like peasants. We are really, we're all queens and kings. And this is supposed to connect with Sagittarius energy, but the sunflower to me really makes me think of Leo. And part of Leo is about pride. And we would say pride in oneself. Now, they say pride is one of the 7 deadly sins, but there is arrogance and there is pride that's a healthy type of pride that isn't arrogant, that is about really owning our talents and not being afraid to shine our light. And Virgo people can sometimes be very self-conscious and so self-critical, picking at yourself, perfectionism, you know the drill. And that is not what I'm talking about here. It's really about stepping into your greatness and nurturing, with the Queen, it's about nurturing your gifts and sharing them with others. All right, Virgo, that's what I have for you. I hope that this resonated. If you would like a private reading, I'm an astrologer and a tarot reader, and I do both types of readings. Please check the link below for more details. Take care. Bye.